Did you know? Sonic Adventure 2 had a hidden backstory tucked away in a Japanese strategy guide. This backstory details the events that led to the creation of Shadow the Hedgehog. Maria Robotnik, Dr. Eggman's cousin, suffered from a fictional incurable disease called NIDS, or Neuroimmunodeficiency Syndrome. The name of this disease explicitly references the real-life disease known as AIDS, Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. Maria's contraction of NIDS led her grandfather, Professor Gerald Robotnik, to begin research on immortality. His research eventually led to the creation of the so-called ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog. This backstory was never referenced in-game, perhaps due to the controversial nature of the subject matter. Despite this, the story was incorporated into the Archie comics storyline with both Maria Robotnik and Bons Rabot contracting NIDS. One of the main events in Sonic Adventure 2 sees Dr. Eggman destroy a large portion of the moon to demonstrate the Eclipse Cannon's power. In later Sonic games, however, the moon appears to be completely intact. At the 2013 Sonic Boom event, the game's director Takashi Iizuka was asked about this inconsistency. Iizuka said the moon had simply rotated, so subsequent games show the unbroken side of it. In real life, though, this would be impossible, as the moon always faces the Earth from the same side. In a process called synchronous rotation, the moon spins on its axis at the same rate that it orbits the Earth, so the moon appears to be almost completely still. Iizuka was most likely just put on the spot by this question and gave a simple answer. Sonic Adventure 2's cutscenes are infamous for their numerous audio issues. The lip syncing doesn't match the voices, and the characters will often talk over each other.
You're not even good enough to be
I'll make you eat those words!
This is because the cutscenes are animated to fit the Japanese dub, and when the game was localized, the Japanese speech was simply swapped out for the English dub. Because many of the lines were longer in English, characters are often cut off before they finish talking.
I don't know what this space colony is all about, but I'll find and destroy that cannon, and then kick their imperial butts.
All right.
But while the cutscenes were animated for the Japanese dub, Sonic Adventure 2 was in fact developed in America. After the Japanese version of Sonic Adventure was completed, Sonic Team split into two halves. One half remained in Japan to work on games such as Phantasy Star Online, and the other half relocated to San Francisco to begin localizing Sonic Adventure for the West. The new division was known as Sonic Team USA. Once Sonic Adventure was localized, work began on the sequel. Inspired by their new surroundings, the team wanted Sonic Adventure 2 to have more of an American flavor. During an interview with IGN, Takashi Iizuka explained the reason behind this new direction. Since Sonic Team USA is residing around San Francisco and the Bay Area, we see a lot of beautiful images here in San Francisco every day, and we wanted to apply those elements in the game. Of course, the world of Sonic Adventure 2 is a fictional world, so our intention is not to create a simulation of San Francisco, but we're really inspired by what we see in the city. It's easy to spot many of these inspirations when playing the game. City Escape is based on the city of San Francisco itself, and the bridge seen in Radical Highway is based off the famous Golden Gate Bridge. Additionally, the game's two driving levels, Route 101 and Route 280, are named after real highways in California. While they were working on the game, members of the development team would occasionally receive parking tickets costing around $30 each. The tickets were passed out by parking attendants who drove small cars with only 3 wheels. As a form of revenge, the team included these vehicles in Tails' mission street level and allowed the player to destroy them. This was all done in good fun, though the team did acknowledge that the traffic wardens were just doing their jobs. One of Sonic's new abilities introduced in Sonic Adventure 2 is grinding on rails. The final version of the game includes many advertisements for soap shoes as part of a deal. The shoes have concave soles that allow the wearer to grind along rails, and Sonic wears these shoes in the game. The sponsorship deal appears to have been secured very late in development, as early screenshots of the game show Sonic in his more traditional footwear. Sonic's original shoes can also be seen during certain frames of his bouncing animation in the final game. Furthermore, in the Dreamcast version of the game, Sonic can be seen wearing his original shoes for part of the intro cinematic. This error was corrected in future ports of the game. Sonic Adventure 2 has plenty of cut content. It seems the game was originally going to include a branching storyline with the player being able to influence the story's events. For example, the designers proposed a scenario where Sonic would be trapped inside of a sinking submarine. The player would have a choice to either take control of the submarine in order to save it, or escape from it. It's unclear whether or not the scenario was ever actually intended to appear in the game, or whether it was just an example to explain the idea. Whatever the case may be, the idea was scrapped and replaced with a linear storyline that was told from two different perspectives, and the idea of a branching storyline was later incorporated into Shadow the Hedgehog. According to Iizuka, Shadow the Hedgehog was originally intended to have remained dead following the events of Sonic Adventure 2. In a Q&A at Summer of Sonic 2011, he stated, "As you know in the story, Shadow was only meant to appear in that single title, but because of the reaction of the fans, we decided to bring him back in Sonic Heroes, and eventually you saw him in his own title." It's also possible that Amy Rose was intended to be a playable character outside of multiplayer. In the Dreamcast version's game data, text can be found in the game's code that tells the player how much the Chow likes Amy, suggesting that she may have originally been playable. It also seems that Super Sonic and Super Shadow were intended to be playable in multiplayer. Text can be found, some of which reads, "Congratulations, you've cleared Green Hill with rank A. Strongest characters are now available to use in Sonic and Shadow 2-player versus mode." It seems that the player would need to clear Green Hill with an A rank in order to unlock the characters. A difficult task, as unlocking Green Hill requires the player to collect all 180 emblems. Speaking of multiplayer, the game was originally going to have more online capabilities. Unused files in the game's code explicitly refer to a world ranking system, with text having been finalized for these menus. Several events in Sonic Adventure 2 also seem to be lifted straight from the 1999 PlayStation game Pepsi Man. One level has Pepsi Man skating downhill through San Francisco, and a later level has him running from an 18-wheeler. Both scenarios were used in Sonic Adventure 2's City Escape level over 2 years after Pepsi Man's release. Don't forget to subscribe to DidYouKnowGaming for more facts and trivia. Before we go, we'd like you to vote on what you'd want to see covered in a future video. A video on Sonic Generations, or a video on Sonic 06. And if you'd like to know more about that lovely game, Pepsi Man, then check out my video on the game Pepsi Man. The guy in the game, Mike Butters, saw my video and said it was very funny. So if that's not a glowing recommendation, I don't know what is. So watch that, subscribe, and thanks. Cool. Bye.